Hello to all my American Horror Story historians. My name is EJ Marino, and we are diving into a new episode of American Horror Stories Season 2. Yes, we're going to be talking about Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. When I first saw the lineup of episodes and I saw Dominique Jackson starring as Bloody Mary in one, I put this at the top of my hype list. I was very excited to see what they could do with this urban legend, what Dominique Jackson could add to the American Horror Story universe, and the final result is just okay. I don't know what it was about this episode, but it felt very cheap. There was just an element to it that I was just like, where is the oomph? Where is the je ne sais quoi? Where is the over-the-top element? I feel like things like Dollhouse and even Milkmaids had higher budgets than this. I felt it was doing a bit more. Maybe it's the director, not being able to really deliver the material, but overall, it just felt okay. I liked the story. I like what happened in it, but the story felt a bit rushed. And then, like, the visuals. I mean, every time I would see Bloody Mary in that damn mirror, and it looked like RuPaul doing a workroom like message to the queens. You know what I'm talking about if you're a Drag Race fan. I was just like, this feels okay. I was just wanting a bit more. Now, I love seeing like Quvenzhané Wallis and just her being in a mainstream product again because she was really cool. I mean, Oscar like nominated. She was really the thing for a moment and then just kind of poofed away. I think horror might be her genre because she really added something to this. I really liked her character. I liked the story arc that she went through. I just felt it was a bit rushed. Like when we were losing the girls in the middle, I was just like, oh, that didn't have the impact that I expected it to. This was one of the only ones that I felt the short story, the short segment, kind of hurt it. I wanted to see this either be like an hour and a half film or something about like something along those lines. It was really good in theory, just the final execution didn't punch all the way through. Am I the only one who feels that way? Again, I like what was presented. I love that this was a story focusing on young black girls. We don't really get that in AHS ever. Ever. So I will take those elements of it. I love the idea of Bloody Mary trying to manipulate these girls to do things, to put them into very weird and very dark positions in their lives. I mean, when that one girl was just like debating, like knocking off that cheerleader, I was just like, ooh, this is really making me like question, would I do this? It's one of those things. Would you do this one bad thing to further your own life? And it's a very interesting concept, and it was presented well. Again, I don't hate this episode. It just lacked the oomph that I thought it was going to have. That's probably my own hype killing this one, but for overall, I like it. Now let's get into the recap of this episode. There's not a lot to say, but what's here is pretty interesting. Lena and her friend group of Elise, Bianca, and Maggie are all having a sleepover, and they decide to tap into the urban legend that is Bloody Mary. It's the one that we all kind of know about. It's what Candyman is based on. You say Bloody Mary into the mirror 3 times, and then Beetlejuice appears or something. No, that's just the premise of it. So they try this out as you do at a sleepover. It's very The Craft. Let's play light as a feather, stiff as a board, but this one has a much darker, well, no, never mind, The Craft is pretty dark. Yeah, this had a very dark result. So the girls do it, and they all get scared because they see Bloody Mary in the mirror, and it's Dominique Jackson looking fabulous. Again, I hate the visual of her in the mirror. It looks so cheap, very bad green screen kind of elements there. But she looked stunning, and she was acting, and she was giving me everything. Like, when she would just kind of, like, just have her little quick moments of being like, you should kill him, or like, oh, do you want to see him hanging? Like, I was just like, oh, there's the elements. I would like to see her in a regular season of AHS because Dominique Jackson is a good talent. She really added a flair to this, even though I actually really liked her backstory moments. I felt that's where the production value was upped. I felt that's where the more like impactful moments were. But yes, so they do the Bloody Mary. They think that they're like free from this, and then when they get to school the next day, well, some of them have to go home and deal with their crazy home life, but things start getting a bit wonky for these group of girls. Bloody Mary gave each one of these girls a different task. They had to do these things in order for them to stay alive. I mean, some of them had to lie that a guidance counselor was like touching them to get to school. One of them had to like break up a couple. One of them had to like steal from somebody rich. Each had their own little thing to do, and they don't start doing it. Like, they really test Bloody Mary, and she says, all right, I will test you, scratching them eyes out. Yeah, the girls start dropping one by one, but we're left with two by the end. I will get to the end in a moment and that very dramatic woods scene, but I liked some of these elements. I liked watching them kind of go, okay, like when she's at the guidance counselor and he like touches her leg and she sees the mirror, and you know, these little moments, I was just like, I kept putting myself into the position of these girls. I thought that was probably the most refreshing thing about the episode of like, would I have done this again? Like going back to the pyramid, like going back to, do I want to hurt somebody rich, you know, to hurt somebody to get myself rich in life? All of these questions, especially dealing with young black girls, especially like the two that are in the pretty shitty situation at home, I understood them. I got what they were trying to do. I just don't know if I would do that. And as we start seeing like two of them, like Maggie and Lena, start dipping out because, ooh, Miss Bloody Mary says, no, for real, I will collect my debts. I have to talk to you about it. Now, in this next segment, let's get into the Bloody Mary backstory because I like that element so much. Elise and Bianca are really the main focuses of this, especially when Elise decides to look into the backstory. We learn about this reverse underground railroad where people were like trapping slaves to end up trying to hurt them. It's crazy, and that's the Bloody Mary backstory. She's like being trapped, being almost tortured by these group of people, and especially this one other slave who says, I'm gonna do what I need to do to get out. And those are always like the situation that I'm like, ooh, oh my god, I understand. Again, trying to do bad to put yourself ahead, but like when it's a culture, when it's a community, I can't do it. And that's what basically pisses Bloody Mary off. She realizes that she is this powerhouse. She has something to say. She taps into what I thought was going to be like the Marie Laveau voodoo. I thought she was going to tap into like Papa Legba and shit. I thought we were going to go that route, but she taps into her powers and basically murders all of these horrible people. I mean, using the dagger, which is like a very ancient dagger, has a very Caribbean, old school kind of voodoo-ish vibe to it, or the hoodoo as well. I really like that. I thought that was a very interesting backstory, and it really added to the Bloody Mary character and made a character I never thought would be sympathetic very sympathetic. It was a bit of a ripoff of Candyman, again, like dealing with slaves and how they end up becoming this urban legend, this mythology within a community. It's interesting. I thought that was definitely a bit on the nose, but I liked it. I thought it was what it needed to be. And then we get to the end when Elise and Bianca are just dealing with this. They get sent to the woods, and oh my goodness, the end of this episode I was not expecting, but actually not that surprised. We learn that Elise has been almost working with Bloody Mary this whole time. She needed the blood of those three innocents, and she needs the last one, which is Bianca. And Bianca and Elise are just like going at it. Bianca gets the upper hand and murders her out of revenge, out of this very dark place, not even for pure self-defense, which leads her to not being so innocent, and that is exactly what Bloody Mary wants, and this allows her to, like, basically change positions. She is able to become free. Oh my god, Dominique Jackson with that press at the end, looking stunning. Oh my, one of the most beautiful women. Like, she is ballroom, she is everything, she is, oh my goodness. So when she got free at the end, I said, girl, live your life. I know, like, 2022 is not the best place to be for women, especially for people of color, but hey, enjoy it. It's better than being stuck in a mirror, where Bianca is stuck in the mirror now, and she is the new Bloody Mary. She has to figure out what she wants to do with this role. She gets summoned to do Bloody Mary, and it seems when she gets her little nails at the end that she might be down to do it. I liked the arc of this. Again, felt a bit rushed. Like, by the time, I wanted to spend more time with her, especially when she becomes Bloody Mary and trying to figure out what she needs to do. I liked those elements. I just wish they went a bit further. But overall, the episode was strong. It did what it needed to do. It was a fun urban legend style one. Kind of what Drive wanted to do, but had Bella Thorne as an actress. Like, we have, like, Miss Wallis and Miss Jackson here as, like, actresses who are far better than Bella Thorne I mean, we could put two Bella Thornes together and still wouldn't even hit Dominique Jackson's presence. Alright, everyone, that is it for my review of Bloody Mary, the latest episode of American Horror Stories. Sorry again that this episode is a bit delayed. I just have a lot going on, family stuff, like my stepson's been sick, my boyfriend's been sick. It has been wild in my household. I've been trying to fight off this cold, but I'm here talking with American Horror Stories with you all, and that means the world to me. Thank you all for who is subscribing, tuning in each week. It means the absolute world, and I'm having a blast. The ride is almost over, but American Horror Story is just around the corner, so make sure you are subscribed and staying tuned to all my videos. All right, everyone, let's talk about the latest episode of AHS Stories down below.